Yeah, she's like, it's 12:30. Yeah. You need to go in right now.
It's 12:30 and 30 seconds. She's correct.
Yep.
How good is their eyesight?
I don't know exactly how far they can see. For vultures, it's more their sense of smell. They're the only birds that have a sense of smell.
Okay, that's interesting.
Turkey vultures have the best sense of smell, and that's why their nose is so big, and I'm sure Joe will tell you guys all about this, so this is just redundant. But turkey vultures smell the carcass from far away and get to it, and then the black vultures have that really sharp, pointy beak because they're just...
Oh, they're like dogs. They're like, okay, here is treat. I get first pick. Go away. They're like, I want first. Get away. I'm first. Greedy bird.
Don't be rude. So just like all of our dogs, cats have personalities of their own. Our birds all have different personalities. Target. Evil here. Good. It's kind of sassy to her roommate. And then Tombstone's very, very shy. But her and I have become good friends. She knows that I'll be her if she's close enough to me. Which is really awesome for vultures because they have a learning capacity of about a 2-year-old. So they're very, very smart. We can even take our vultures on walks. We can train them to follow along to this target stick here. Good job. And they'll just walk beside us or fly beside us. Good. And not all of you were here earlier, so I'm going to talk about the difference between turkey vultures and black vultures. We have both here in North Carolina. Turkey vultures obviously have that red head. That's how they get their name. Good. Hi, you're standing on it. Can I have that back? Thank you. Turkey vultures also have a really, really big nose. Vultures are the only birds with a sense of smell. Whenever we're little, we're always told that if we touch a baby bird, the mama bird is going to smell us on it and reject it. It is absolutely false. Good. Which is a shock for a lot of people to hear, because we think there's a baby bird on the ground, its mom must rejected it and we need to rescue it. But a lot of the time with orphan birds, they just go to the ground to fly. That's how birds learn how to fly. They just go to the ground. Good. Ow. Okay. Being rude. Oh, that's why you're choosing. It gets really hard to keep track of them whenever they're both going around. Okay. Just once a day. And it's based on weight. So they get about, I think, 100 and something grams of mice a day, or chicks, depending on what day it is. We try to vary their diet. Our falcons will get quail 3 times a week. But anyway, turkey vultures have that big long nose, so big nose, so they can smell their food. Good. And they're the ones who find the carcass at first, and then the black vultures show up.
So it doesn't fly turkey.
And they use this big long beak of theirs to rip open that carcass and get to all the juicy bits. So if you're a vulture and you're ripping open a carcass, you really don't want feathers on your head. Because feathers on your head means that you're going to get dead stuff all over your feathers, which is pretty gross. So they've got this really cool hood that they can pull back. You can see good. Igor here has her hood down, and then Tombstone has her hood up. It's also a sign of nervousness. So Tombstone gets a little bit more nervous around people, so she's got her hood up a lot of the time. So Igor's pretty comfortable. She's a human infant. Good. Oh, thank you, children. People think vultures are pretty gross because they eat dead things, but they're actually essential to our environment. If we didn't have vultures, things would be a lot more gross than they really are outside. Places like India and Pakistan, a lot of more third world countries, have a big vulture crisis right now. Good. Because farmers are using a drug called diclofenac. It's a drug developed by humans. It's completely human-made synthetic drug that these guys can't digest. So the farmer's cow dies. It's got that diclofenac in its system. Igor, try it. Come and eat that carcass. Good. There we go. And they get sick from it, which is crazy because if you think about it, vulture stomach acids can digest a lot of things that we think is insane. They can digest botulism. They can digest anthrax. They can digest rabies. All that good stuff that we don't want in our environment, these guys take care of. So whenever we have vultures dying off because farmers are using man-made antibiotics, it's a huge thing. Good. Because then instead of vultures being around to eat all those carcasses and digest those diseases, we do it, don't we? We have things like wild dogs, which can get rabies from those cows or whatever they're eating, and then pass those rabies on to humans or to our pet dogs. Good. Things like that. So the Raptor Center actually supports an organization called Vulpro that is dedicated to vulture conservation. They're mostly in Africa, teaching farmers how to properly raise their cattle and what antibiotics to give their cattle. Look, Sassy. Come on. Which is really important. Are you done? Are you full? Good. So that we can continue to have vultures in their world to digest all that nasty stuff. Vultures are also really important in a lot of cultural ceremonies. There are some cultures that do sky burials, so they'll stick a carcass, good, of one of their family members on top of a mountain and have vultures pick it clean, and that's really ceremonial to them. It's really important to them. I'm just going to set this in here and let her have at it, and I'll come out and talk to you guys about food vultures. Hang on. All your food's in it.
The people doing talking.
Who's eating?
Let's go talk. And go at bomb. And go and bomb.
King vultures are one of the largest vultures in South America. They are second to the Andean condor, which has about a 10-foot wingspan. So if an Andean condor shows up to a carcass, these guys leave it. I gave her all of her food. Then she gets wrapped. It's all in a paper bag so that she can tear into that paper bag. It's really fun for her. We try to do enrichment with our birds as much as we can to try to keep them stimulated. For vultures, since they are so smart, it's really important to us to keep them stimulated. So I'll let you guys kind of look at her a little bit closer than you can in her cage. This is our spectacled owl. Very nervous. She's a rainforest species mostly found in Costa Rica. And with her, I get a lot of questions about what happened to her, because people think of us as just a bird hospital. We actually have a lot of, right. Yep. We have a lot of birds that have no injury at all. They're imprinted, so they were raised around humans and think that we mean food. Or they're captive bred, which also means that they were raised around humans and think that we mean food. She was born in a zoo in New York. And then brought here whenever she was still pretty young. So she's 6 years old and she's been here pretty much her entire life. And I take her out and I do programs. We actually have a program that we're doing tonight. If you guys are staying for our Hoot and Howl Owl Prowl, you guys will need to meet her at 7:15 tonight.
Pretty.
Do you guys have any questions about owls?
They kill their prey rather than looking for dead.
Absolutely. Vultures are the only ones that like to eat dead things, and that's because they have that stomach acid that can digest it.
Do they do that by their smell? The carcass smell?
Vultures?
Or, yeah.
Turkey vultures can smell from really far away. So they can smell the carcass, they'll get to it, black vultures will come and rip open the carcass for them. These guys have these really, really sharp talons.
Yeah.
And they use them to catch their food. They're really, really powerful. If she decides to grip down, it kind of hurts a lot, even though I have my glove on. But if you were a mouse, you would definitely not want to be in these. Spectacled owls in the wild like to eat things like mice, rats, snakes, fish, frogs. They've been known to go after tree rats, which are pretty big. There are reports of them going after sloths, which I'm not sure if I believe, because those are way too big for these guys to go after. But they also like to eat bats, which I think would be the coolest thing ever to see in the wild, is a spectacled owl chasing a bat.
Well, it's just a flying mouse. Why not?
We had chickens and we had an owl.